Communicate, verbally and in writing. Every time, every level, especially when it comes to communicating with families. I know you might think, I have such a great relationship here or there, but you need to back it up with writing every time, because families like mine, we get a little spacey. Remember, the parents you talk with have reverted back to carnal state. Mama Bear has 1,000 things going on, and whatever that creature is next to Mama Bear, it's just not firing on all cylinders. So always back up instructions, decisions, conversations with a note. Okay, this is from Stephen R. Covey. I love his work. And this is from one of his books, and it's habit number 5. He says, seek first to understand, then to be understood. And it's more important now than ever. People are on the edge, so they're more likely to jump to conclusions or draw their own conclusion. What you say is not always what they hear or what they understand. Now, my neighbor, she's very sweet, mom, same kids go to the same school. She stopped me around mid-May. She said, Rick, did you read the email from the school district? I said, yeah, I read that. She said, looks like kids are going to go back to school soon. I said, really? I must have missed that part in the email. She said, yeah, oh yeah. Look at it again. Looks like kids are going to go back, probably have 4 weeks left. 4 weeks, and then we're going to roll into summer. But they'll get 4 weeks. Well, I went back. I read that email we talked about. It listed several options. The district was exploring all kinds of things and was very upfront about the options they were exploring, and that was it. One of the options was going back to school, but it never mentioned anything about 4 weeks or any kind of timeline. So sometimes people hear what they want to hear. So if I really want my kids to go back to school, I might just read that they're going to go back to school. So when you communicate, slow it down and make sure you understand, and more importantly, make sure that you are being understood. And speaking of being understood, I am constantly reading and watching and interviewing a lot of teachers and parents to make sure I have correct information. Now, when COVID happened, a lot of teachers, even good teachers in the classroom, took a pass and did the minimum when it came to distance learning. I'm not talking about the teacher who had 3 kids of her own and had to manage everything, being a mom, juggling several other things, as well as take care of her class. There are certainly special circumstances that many teachers, in fact, maybe all teachers, had to deal with. But there were those who were not team players, who did the minimum and glided into summer. Parents talk, and they know who those teachers are. The principals know who they are. You cannot let that slide just because it was a difficult time. So please communicate that and figure out a solution, because we may be in that same situation come fall. The good news is actually, it's great news. And that is that teachers are awesome. Teachers seem to be resilient when faced with COVID, and we're willing to figure it out. Now, there's more stories of teachers staying up all night, figuring out how to do software, tracking down students who failed to log in, and on and on and on, reaching out to kids that they couldn't communicate with. And frankly, I'm really in awe. I am reminded of what amazing teachers, principals, everyone in education has accomplished during this crisis. Really, in all seriousness, movies should be made about what happened and what is going on right now. Now, this is my son, Eli. He is full inclusion in kindergarten and is moving on to full inclusion in first grade. His teacher, I love his teacher. She has never had a kid with Down syndrome or autism or had anywhere near the needs that my kid has. But you know what? To her, it doesn't matter. In addition to her own lesson plans, Zoom conferences with her own 3 kids, plus being mom, too many projects to count, she made us feel like Eli was her only student. He had his own lesson plan. She made videos and activities for him. He was invited in smaller groups. She Zoomed every single day, 2 days a week with her class, and every single day with smaller groups or kids that really needed her. She was concerned about our situation at home. She showed love and empathy towards us. And a lot of teachers, especially special education teachers, went above and beyond and continue to do so. Now, there's a quote from Oscar Wilde that I love. You don't love someone for their looks or their clothes or their fancy cars, but because they sing a song only you can hear. And education, teachers hear that song. I really feel like special education teachers and teachers in general care about their students. They're so concerned about them, and we really saw it during COVID. And the reason is because we sing the same song. They're singing the same song. In addition to that, educators tend to have a growth mindset and not a fixed mindset. So a fixed mindset, if you have a fixed mindset and you're faced with a challenge, you can't move on because you can't think outside the box. A growth mindset says, I can think outside the box. I can figure things out. I can figure out a way to get it done. Shuffle things around, bend a little here, stretch a little there. I can see you considering communication tools and the best way to utilize them. How will this make a difference when the rubber meets the road? How can we get the most growth out of our students? And that's what you do.